So sublime timing. That's really wonderful. So welcome to the Miracle Recap. This today on Tuesday, and that's just because yesterday was a day off, some kind of day off. I don't know even what that means, but yes, here we are, the Miracle Recap, and it's lovely. So today we have a little, almost like an overlap with the next meeting that we have, but it will work out. It's okay. So today I'm starting with the lessons. Let me take a little look. The specific lessons it was 154 to 160. 154 to 160. And we take a look at that for sure. There's a lesson of today. I want to take a look at that too. And there's another opportunity to hear the first 15 lessons in a whole different way presented, and that is the quantum enlightenment. Like I started to record some readings of the master teacher tapes. There's transcripts of that, and one of them is quantum enlightenment, and that's in fact an introduction to the first 15 lessons, or first 50, but in this article there's only like the first 15. Now this is a very interesting article because you see the power of even just the titles of the first 15 lessons, and they are put in perspective by a master teacher, and that's why that's very helpful too. But the titles are so incredibly powerful to just remind yourself, like this is the part of the incredible book that we use here. That's A Course in Miracles, basically one bunch of reminders, and we use them. That's why we do the Miracle Recap too. Like, why would you repeat a Miracle Recap session every week? Well, the reminders are basically on a daily basis. So once a week we look back at all the reminders that we had this week, and just to rejoice basically in the newness of you that is being brought to the service by doing this. That is so wonderful. Now that's maybe we start with listening to Master Teacher, or at least a reading of the article that is called Quantum Enlightenment, which refers to the first 15 lessons of A Course in Miracles. So let's do that. I'll get it here for you. Quantum Enlightenment. The Master Teacher. Shall I just for a moment again attempt to teach ideas about a course? An idea of mind training that would show me the difference in what I want to believe about myself? And that the new ideas about what I want to see can increase the fabric of light association in a continuing recognition of, say to me, a different place. The first thing I did in this idea about our association of time, I hope, was take away from you the idea that time itself will not finally resolve the conflict of the place that you're in. That's all I really did. What I want to do with you is offer you my certainty that in this matriculation, in the idea of structure, in the idea of study, in the idea of teaching, there's a necessary part in you that must express and determine another alternative to this that's always available to you. Now, the recognition that the procedures of the offering I'm giving you are coming from a single universal mind may not for that moment be obvious to you. Look with me, and that's why you need the mind training, isn't it? In other words, if I'm determined to offer you a parallel universe of my identity with myself, I'm going to have to admit somewhere, beginning very early in the teaching, that the world that I'm seeing out there is not who I really am. The surprise about this, shall I tell you, from the new quantum idea of self-expression that we're maintaining is ourself. We've begun to meet each other in another place and time. I'd love to show you how rapidly you can bring about a conversion within your own mind in the exercising of questions and answers that you're getting about yourself within the frame of this Course in Miracles. Well, that looks like a pretty thick book. I'm wondering how I'm ever going to be able... Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that at all. That's just a constant reminder to you that the manner of your self-discovery is not really concerned, except that you must assume responsibility for two things. Shall I teach for a moment? First of all, you're going to get the result of your own mind. It's not going to do you any good to appear here within a fabric that you identify as a specialization of teaching of quantum in regard to the universal source of reality that's out there. Do you see that? Because if I'm going to train your mind systematically that this is not real, come on. If I'm going to attempt to show you that the whole universe is out there, it's virtually impossible without mind training for you to recognize, shall we share what? That everything that you're seeing within your own identity of yourself is justifying the arrangement that you hold about yourself in the correspondence that you find within your own identity of yourself. The enjoyment, let's use what we call the mind training of A Course in Miracles. Shall I go to ideas of cycle in the first 50 days? Within the first 50 days will be everything that you need to know to lead you to a factor of increase in importance of what? First, I'm responsible for this. Now, that may not be totally recognizable to me at this time, but the idea that it can be recognized in the place that I'm in are the crucial elements of the first 50 lessons. What it says is, I am responsible for what I see, but I seem to be in a place where I can't recognize myself. Listen, you're not. Do you see that? Everything that you're seeing out in this world of universal mind is teaching you directly about your own consciousness identity as Homo sapiens, as an idea of body form in which all of your recognition of yourself in the idea of who you are only evidence of how you feel. But you've admitted this much. I'm responsible for what I see. I'm choosing ideas that I want, and everything that's happening to me in that first 50 lessons, I've determined as the outcome that I want. Well, if you don't have a copy of A Course in Miracles yet, get one. Because I'm going to demonstrate it now to you in the idea of sequence of time. And I want you to see that I can practice it on a day-by-day basis. When I came into this fabric this morning, I said, what is going on here? This association of time is expressing a consciousness idea of self-concept in which he is telling me I can change my mind about what I thought I was, and that I will be entirely different because I am entirely different each moment. Each moment I have decided not to hold on to myself in these first 50 lessons, or particularly these first 10 lessons, I have discovered a brand new me, so that I am now come out into the world. I may sit with you in the idea of the lessons that we're going to perform together, and at any moment in the verbalization of what I'm offering you, in the recognition of the teaching devices we discover first. You're only teaching yourself. Second, you're only hearing what you want to hear. And third, what you want to hear is changing all the time. Good. The progress that you're making, important, doesn't have anything to do with your concepts at all. It may momentarily have to do with your emotional evaluation of yourself because you're involved in the need to find out who you are and feel all the joy and love that's going to result in pain, loneliness, death in your self-identity. That's the only reason you need me. Look, The first 10 lessons in this miracle of conversion, of the recognition of the factoring of light, that have showed you directly that while your objection will be immediate to it, your objection has nothing to do with the entirety of what you are. Shall we look why? You have based the idea of who you are on an objecting to what I know that you are in my illumination. But once we begin to share the idea that there's another way to look at this, we begin to enjoy another way to look at it. And that's what we're going to do right now, right here. The workbook of A Course in Miracles, Lesson 1. Nothing I see means anything. Lesson 2. I've given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. Lesson 3. I do not understand anything I see. Lesson 4. These thoughts do not mean anything. Lesson 5. I'm never upset for the reason I think. Lesson 6. I'm upset because I see something that is not there. Lesson 7. I see only the past. Lesson 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. Lesson 10. My thoughts do not mean anything. How's that going with you? Is this exciting? See, we've structured this within the ideas that from now on you may use this faculty of this Course in Miracles book. Listen, with no regard at all to what it says conceptually, with no regard to the body whatsoever. Finally, dear ones, I got to get you to look at the idea that whatever factor you're holding in your mind in regard to what you think you are concern me not in the slightest. I'm going to use science for a moment. I'm in the science of your mind, in the reasonable idea that you know perfectly well, both in time and in space, there's something else going on in the activity of the power of our mind. And we're going to find it will be in the lessons that appear to run from 11 to 15 in what seem to be the first 15 days, but at any moment can be reduced to any cycle of time in which you want to recognize yourself. My meaningless thoughts are showing me in a meaningless world. Lesson 12. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Lesson 13. A meaningless world engenders fear. Lesson 14. God did not create a meaningless world. Lesson 15. My thoughts are images that I have made. Thank you for that 15-day interlude in which, as you look in retrospect about the idea that in the first hour of this association we came together to show each other that in the hologram of the reflection of light in which we identify ourselves, we have been picturing. These are the first 15 lessons now, or the first 3 days, or the first 15 minutes, or the recognition that the cycle of time in which we're arrived at the idea that the reflection of light I'm getting is not actually who I am, are the manner in which I have recognized myself in the mind training. I am going to assume responsibility for an alternative that I want, even though I can't recognize it. Yet each time I appear to recognize it, I feel, at least for that moment, a joy that you perhaps, in your own factoring of a hologram of time, say to me, I have recognized myself. Thank you for these first 15 lessons. Dear ones, I love it. All you really had to decide was the practice of it. Listen with me. There is no requirement that you believe it. In fact, everything that you do within the perspective of your identity of space-time is a provision for you not to accept it. Can you see why? As long as you can maintain an idea of fear within your mind, the idea of loss and pain and loneliness, you can protect yourself. Shall we share why? If you lose the ideas of who you thought you were, say to me, I'll be someone else. Of course, all you really learned in the first 15 lessons from me is that who you thought you were, in the idea of captivity of this space-time reference in the reflection of light, is not who you are. I have come to you now in the mind training sequence of your mind to offer you another solution of the presence of you. Let's use me now in that reflection of light that the first 15 days have shown you what could have taken 20,000 years. What you discovered with me is that all of the memories that I have of myself in my entirety, including all the pain, all the unhappiness, all the loss, all of the sorrow, all of the things that I have valued within my own identity, within the power of my mind, to decide the outcome that I want, are simply a decision within the fabric of time. Say to me, I want to see differently. Thank you for that. I'm going to leave you now with the factory of the hologram in order to show you the quantum moment of your reappearance in time as we attempt to go beyond the first 15 days to the idea that they have become accumulative in your mind in the power of decision you have made in regard to yourself. God is with us wherever we go, isn't He? I'm excited at the prospect that you're going to look at lesson 16 with me. I'll be right back. You're carrying it around, aren't you? You're feeling the joy of participating. You're sharing with me the idea that all of us are blessed together. Everyone. We're sitting together in that solution, in that illumination of mind. All right. So, yeah, I try to be a good student. So I answered. So that's great. Yeah, so it's so recognizable, and that's why I play it too. It's like it's so recognizable in the expression of itself as like this is exciting because it literally is like giving me something like a recognition of what we share together, and in that it becomes everything. Like it is so great to see it continue and open up even more. That's what I love about it. It's like that's such a good experience, and I'm so happy to share it with you. So that I needed to share this. I really love it, and there were some little wrinkles in the audio, but anyway. So yes. Now we continue not with lesson 16, but we go a little bit further. So we start with lesson 154. And miracle recap. So the title is Christ Vision. And here we start. Like this is from lesson 154. There's one major difference in the role of heaven's messengers, which sets them off from those the world appoints. The messages that they deliver are intended first for them. And it is only as they can accept them for themselves that they become able to bring them further and to give them everywhere that they were meant to be. Like earthly messengers, they did not write the message they bear, but they become their first receivers in the truest sense, receiving to prepare themselves to give. Now that is really lovely. That's why I thought like this is great to use, because it tells you literally, I have to receive this first for myself. I'm becoming the first receiver of the message. And then you can say like, well, A Course in Miracles was already written, it came already down. And then it's like, no, this is like you are the first receiver for whatever message you get, like for whatever is given you in the lessons of today or the lessons of any day. It is like you're the first receiver. You have to receive this first for yourself before you can give it away. And that's why the practice is so important. Like this is not teaching concepts. This is not trying to give this away in some kind of way that you make up. Like no, in your receptivity, in your receiving this lesson, this light, this love, this defenselessness, this innocence, this, you name it, it's like that in that receiving it, you give it. And that's the only way it will communicate. So that's something great. Now, like an earthly messenger doesn't know the message. He doesn't have to receive it for himself or him or herself, but just passes it on. Like the whole information is completely bypassed. And here it is like, no. You become first the receiver. In that, you start to give it away. And this is good to recognize. So now this is not just with the message. This is just with receiving the light and the love for yourself first. Opening your consciousness for a God communication can only be done by you. You're the first receiver of it. In your receptivity, in your receiving it, you give it away. So this is a universal way of extending that, what is given you. The world is an illusion. Those who choose to come to it are seeking for a place where they can be illusions and avoid their own reality. Yet when they find their own reality is even here, then they step back and let it lead the way. What other choice is really theirs to make? To let illusions walk ahead of truth is madness, but to let illusions sink behind the truth and let the truth stand forth as what it is merely sanity. So let's take a quiet look, or let's take some time to get what this says. The world is an illusion. Well, it's like you made it up, so something that is made up is not a reality. To you it can be very real because you confirm its reality until you don't. But it's like, in fact, the world I see is of my own making. It does not exist. I just have believed that it was true. Those who choose to come to it are seeking for a place where they can be illusions and avoid their own reality. This is what we know that has happened in the dream that you're dreaming. Yet when they find their own reality, is it even here? Then they step back and let it lead the way. Like if you discover within your dream that there's a way out of it, and you start to receive that, then you love that to be your guide. And this is what we practice in the mind training. You step back and let the light lead the way. Let spirit make your choices. So start your day right by literally recognizing, I have no idea how to respond to any of it. That will be given. I can totally rely on that. What other choice is really theirs to make? To let illusions walk ahead of truth is madness, but to let illusions sink behind the truth and let truth stand forth as what it is merely sanity. So this is our daily practice, the daily practice of letting truth be itself. And this is in situations, events, in relationships, in moments, encounters, and all of it. It's like calm down sufficiently so that truth can literally reveal itself. If your first response is a human response, there's no hope to experience something else. You know the outcome, you know the frequency of that, you could say. It's like you know the auto response of human being. It's like almost like a robotic response. There's a situation, I respond to it accordingly, according to the rules that I've obeyed in my mind. If somebody's, I can give an example. Like, okay, here's an emergency. There's a body on the floor, and it's not sure if somebody's breathing. Now, there seems to be an emergency. So what do? Well, you can take a look, of course. It's not that you don't have to do anything with it, but it's more like it is not what it appears to be, and it will be shown to you. Even in that, it will be shown to you. I've seen this too many times. It's like, it's not what it appears to be. And suddenly there's the person back, or who knows what happens. Like, this is just one example, but it's more like in any situation, if somebody is coming to you with a certain response or a certain attitude that seems to be violent, or that seems to be angry, now you don't respond to it by defending yourself, you don't respond to it by anything else, but just to let it be for a moment, to wanting to see it differently. It's like, this cannot simply not be what it is, because, and this might be like extreme examples, but well, they work the best in a sense. Like, they work the best because the only thing that happens when something is so-called threatening you is that you have a physical response to it of adrenaline, where you want to fight or flight. This is like the normal human response to emergency situations. So you feel your heartbeat in your throat, and it's like, oh my God, what's going on? And you can't even think, but just react. Now, when you slow down, something else can happen. When you see that after some time, like even after 30 seconds, it all starts to calm down already. Suddenly you're able to think again. It's like, wow, I would love to see this differently. I have no idea how to respond to this. I need help here. And so, like, even in a situation like this, you have an alternative that you otherwise couldn't get to. Now, this is in every situation. Any situation that causes you a response of lack or limitation, of disease, disaster, sickness, pain, death, all of this, when that comes to you, your first response, when you perceive it, your first response is trying to solve it. Now, that is the moment. This is like a signal now that you're going to let that be for a moment. You're not trying to solve this, and allow something else to happen, really, like that. It's like, no, it's not what it appears to be, because of the first 15 lessons that we have been practicing. My thoughts are images that I've made. It's like, what I'm seeing is really meaningless. It is not. It is only, say, shaped by my values, by my laws that I project upon it. That's why it seems that way, and I seem to be right in what I perceive. Now, if I can give up that right, then I can see it differently. So this works in all situations. That's the amazing thing. So that makes it that there's no exception to this. There's no exception to the love of God. Like, the love of God is here in its totality, or it is not here at all. But there's no in the middle kind of thing. Like, you cannot make a deal with it. Continuing with lesson 156. Yet you have wasted many, many years on just this foolish thought. The past is gone with all its fantasies. They keep you bound no longer. The approach to God is near. And in the little interval of doubt that still remains, you may perhaps lose sight of your companion with a capital C, and mistake him for the senseless, ancient dream that now is past. Now we're very curious what this foolish thought was. The past is gone. Thinking that something from the past can actually do something. So let me take a quick peek to what it is. So obviously I'm very curious myself now. 156, here it is. Oh yeah. This is the way salvation works. As you step back, the light in you steps forward and encompasses the world. It heralds not the end of sin in punishment and death. In lightness and in laughter is sin gone, because its quaint absurdity is seen. It is a foolish thought, a silly dream, not frightening, ridiculous perhaps, but who could waste an instant in approach to God Himself for such a senseless whim? Now you have wasted many, many years on just this foolish thought. The past is gone, with all its fantasies. They keep you bound no longer. So this is what we saw. So that is the idea. The idea of sin, the idea of separation. Oh. The idea of separation. You've wasted many, many years on this foolish thought. The past is gone with all its fantasies. They keep you bound no longer. The approach to God is near. And in the little interval of doubt that still remains, you may perhaps lose sight of your companion and mistake him for the senseless ancient dream that now is past. So here we go to lesson 157. Your body will be sanctified today. Its only purpose being now to bring the vision of what you experienced this day to light the world. We cannot give experience like this directly. Yet it leaves a vision in our eyes, which we can offer everyone, that we may come the sooner to the same experience in which the world is quietly forgot and heaven is remembered for a while. Your body will be sanctified today. Its only purpose being now to bring the vision of what you experience this day to light the world. We cannot give experience like this directly, yet it leaves a vision in our eyes, which we can offer everyone, that we may come the sooner to the same experience, in which the world is quietly forgot and heaven is remembered for a while. The time is set already. It appears to be quite arbitrary, yet there is no step along the road that anyone takes but by chance. It has already been taken by him, although he has not yet embarked on it. For time but seems to go in one direction. We but undertake a journey that is over. Yet it seems to have a future still unknown to us. Christ's vision is the bridge between the worlds, and in its power can you safely trust to carry you from this world into one made holy by forgiveness. Things which seem quite solid here are merely shadows there, transparent, faintly seen, at times forgot and never able to obscure the light that shines beyond them. Holiness has been restored to vision, and the blind can see. Not one does Christ forget, not one he fails to give you to remember, that your home may be complete and perfect as it was established. He has not forgotten you. But you will not remember him until you look on all as he does. Who denies his brother is denying him, and thus refusing to accept the gift of sight by which his self is clearly recognized. His home is remembered, and salvation come. Not one does Christ forget. Not one he fails to give you to remember, that your home may be complete and perfect as it was established. He has not forgotten you, but you will not remember him until you look on all as he does. Who denies his brother is denying him, and thus refusing to accept the gift of sight, by which his self is clearly recognized, his home remembered, and salvation come. So this is our inspiration, you could say. It's like in these lessons now we come really close to the idea of homecoming. This is like you're being brought closer and closer to it. And when we are in the 180 lessons, it will be continuously that. I will be still an instant and go home. Like now we're still preparing, like literally getting familiar with Christ's vision. And what is Christ's vision? It's like, well, Christ's vision is not seeing differences, not making comparisons, not being in competition, not defending yourself. Like this is all that it is not. And what opens up then is a recognition that there's no other person, there's no one else, that there's one consciousness that we share. And like just like we said in the lessons, like step back and let the light lead the way. That's going to be your guide no matter what the situation appears to be. Like that becomes your practice, and in that you start to recognize that the communication that is possible, literally like the out-of-time communication in which you remember home here, becomes your freedom, becomes that what you literally start to radiate. Not directly being able to give that, but surely shining it into your brother's mind, you could say. So this is where we are now with these lessons. So with the lesson of today, I'm going to pull that up too, because in that the so-called response becomes very obvious. Like you're only dealing here with yourself. How can you extend your love? By receiving that, by receiving it from, like literally letting that come to you, by receiving that for yourself first, before anything else, just because otherwise you don't know what you're giving. Literally, you have to recognize it, that it is you, and that is completely, say, all-inclusive. But first, you will have to include yourself. And that is not so clear for many of us. Like that's not so clear. Like you know this too. Like the people that literally channeling, like they channel Jesus or who knows who, like they channel that. Now that seems to be something special, but the thing is, like if you start to express that, what you have channeled, if you start to express that as something that you literally extend by the words and concept that you have received, then you miss the whole opportunity to literally like let it become yourself, recognizing it for yourself, and doing that first before anything else, like literally demonstrating it, what it tells you like it's only for you. Now you see so many channels on YouTube too. It's like so many channels where people are extending their channeled messages without receiving that for themselves, and that's like, it doesn't do anything. So here we are receiving this for ourselves. That's why we do the lessons. Like the lessons are so great for that. They 365 days a year you do this, and you can say like, well, after a year I should be ready, and then it's like, no, it's different. It's not that you have to do it or anything. But here's one inspiring example. With Master Teacher, for instance, how many times he has read the first 50 lessons, or how he brings into almost all of his videos parts of A Course in Miracles, where he literally starts reading A Course in Miracles. Not because he knows already, not because his mind is enlightened, no. Just, this is what you receive in this moment. Now, to use this and is to literally let it come to you, in that it extends. And that doesn't really stop in that sense. So that's really beautiful. Like you could say like, well, he or I don't need that because I've read it all. I know, I've read the book 10 times. Now I know everything about it. Like, well, you missed it. It is worthless if you look at it like that. Now, there's one thing today that you're going to receive from this book that is given to you, and that will change everything. Like that is the gift that is given you, and you are going to receive that now in the way that you can receive it today, because everything changes the whole time. The way that you can receive this changes, and like there's a continual say invitation to receive this, what is given. That's why pick up the book if you don't know. Pick up the book if you need to make a choice. Pick up the book if you think like, oh my God, I don't know what kind of day I have. Like pick up the book and start reading it. Not interpreting it, reading it. Just simply reading it out loud. So you can hear it with your whole being. Like here it is. Oh my God, I can't believe it. So there's always a gift connected to that. So this is the lesson of today. Here we are. So if you feel like reading with me, you're welcome to do that, of course. So just read a paragraph. So, give me your blessing, Holy Son of God. Give me your blessing, Holy Son of God. Today we practice differently and take a stand against our anger, that our fears may disappear and offer room for love. Here is salvation in the simple words in which we practice with today's idea. Here's the answer to temptation, which can never fail to welcome in the Christ, where fear and anger had prevailed before. Here's atonement made complete, the world passed safely by, and heaven now restored. Here's the answer of the voice for God.
Complete abstraction is the natural condition of the mind, but part of it is now unnatural. It does not look on everything as one. It sees instead but fragments of the whole. For only thus could it invent the partial world you see. The purpose of all seeing is to show you what you wish to see. All hearing but brings to your mind the sounds it wants to hear.
Thus were specifics made, and now it is specifics we must use in practicing. We give them to Holy Spirit, that he may employ them for a purpose which is different from the one we gave to them. Yet he can use but what we made to teach us from a different point of view, so we can see differently. see a different use in everything. One brother is all brothers. Every mind contains all minds, for every mind is one, such is the truth. Yet do these thoughts make clear the meaning of creation? Do these words bring perfect clarity with them to you? What can they seem to be but empty sounds, pretty perhaps, correct in sentiment, yet fundamentally not understood or understandable? The mind that taught itself to think specifically can no longer grasp abstraction in the sense that is all-encompassing. We need to see a little that we learn a lot.
It seems to be the body that we feel limits our freedom, makes us suffer, and at last puts out our life. Yet bodies are but symbols for a concrete form of fear. Fear without symbols calls for no response, for symbols can stand for the meaningless. Love needs no symbols, being true, but fear attaches to specifics, being false.
Les corps attaquent, mais les esprits, non. Cette pensée rappelle sûrement notre texte où il est souvent souligné. C'est la raison pour laquelle les corps deviennent aisément les symboles de la peur. Maintes fois, tu as été enjoint de le regarder au-delà du corps, car sa vue présente le symbole de l'ennemi de l'amour que la vision du Christ ne voit pas. Le corps est la cible de l'attaque, car nul ne pense haïr un esprit. Mais qu'est-ce que sinon l'esprit qui commande au corps d'attaquer? Quoi d'autre pourrait-il être le siège de la peur, sauf ce que pense la peur?
Hate is specific. There must be a thing to be attacked. An enemy must be perceived in such a form that he can be touched and seen and heard and ultimately killed. When hatred rests upon a thing, it calls for death as surely as God's voice proclaims there is no death. Fear is insatiable, consuming everything its eyes behold, seeing itself in everything, compelled to turn upon itself and to destroy.
Who sees a brother as a body, sees him as fear's symbol, and he will attack because what he beholds is his own fear external to himself, poised to attack and howling to unite with him again. Mistake not the intensity of rage projected fear must spawn. It shrieks in wrath and claws the air in frantic hope it can reach to its maker and devour him.
This do the body's eyes behold, in one whom heaven cherishes, the angels love and God created perfect. This is his reality, and in Christ's vision is his loveliness reflected in a form so holy and so beautiful that you could scarce refrain from kneeling at its feet. Yet you will take his hand instead, for you are like him in the sight that sees him thus. Attack on him is enemy to you, for you will not perceive that in his hands is your salvation. Ask him but for this, and he will give it to you. Ask him not to symbolize your fear. Would you request that love destroy itself? Or would you have it be revealed to you and set you free? Today we practice in form we have attempted earlier. Your readiness is closer now, and you will come today nearer Christ's vision. If you are intent on reaching it, you will succeed today. And once you have succeeded, you will not be willing to accept the witness what your body's eyes call forth. What you will see will sing to you of ancient melodies. You will remember you are not forgotten in heaven. Would you not remember it?
Choisis un frère, symbole de tous les autres, et demande-lui le salut. Vois-le d'abord aussi clairement que tu le peux, sous la même forme à laquelle tu es habitué. Vois son visage, ses mains, ses pieds, ses vêtements. Regarde-le sourire et vois les gestes familiers qu'il fait si fréquemment. Ensuite, pense à ceci. Ce que tu vois maintenant te dissimule la vue de quelqu'un qui peut te pardonner tous tes péchés, dont les mains sacrées peuvent enlever les clous qui transpercent les tiennes et ôter la couronne d'épines que tu as sur ta tête sanglante. Demande-lui ceci pour qu'il te rende libre. Donne-moi ta bénédiction, Saint Fils de Dieu. Je voudrais te contempler avec les yeux du Christ et voir ma parfaite impeccabilité en toi.
And he will answer whom you called upon, for he will hear the voice for God in you and answer in your own. Behold him now, whom you have seen as merely flesh and bone, and recognize that Christ has come to you. Today's idea is your safe escape from anger and from fear. Be sure you use it instantly should you be tempted to attack a brother and perceive in him a symbol of your fear. And you will see him suddenly transformed from enemy to savior, from the devil into Christ. All right, so thank you so much for reading with me this lesson. That's really lovely. Doing this for a second. Okay, so for today we leave it with this. You could say it's like this is a huge lesson. So we're gonna have a moment of quiet, of music, before we start with the next part of the program. You could say the frequency of now. So let's take a moment to just relax into stillness together.